Hey, Dan here. Sorry if I look like a tomato. I just left the sauna at the gym here, so I presume I'm way too red on the video, but oh well. And while I was at the gym, I was reading some of your comments. For the record, I read all the comments now. I don't always reply to them all. I love when you share one of your theories or a long life story, something like that, and I read it. But I don't always know exactly how to reply or just have the time to send the sort of reply you deserve. And I don't like just saying, cool, thanks for sharing, because it seems kind of weird, when you've written something important for me. Let me see if I can find somewhere to stand here. One of the comments was about ENFPs and saying, this Dan guy, I don't know, he doesn't resonate with me, Like some of the stuff he says for ENFPs, I don't think applies to me. And that's probably true. And there's a lot of ways we could approach that or explore that, but I think what's most important to understand is that there are many things that are going to impact your life beyond just this particular personality type. Because remember, there's other ways to assess personality. You have things like the Big Five, you have DISC, you have Strength Finder, you have Colby. There are a lot of overlaps. Now, all these systems often claim that they're independent. No, they're completely different results. And having worked with a lot of clients and often having my clients take multiple personality tests, you can definitely see patterns, but I definitely see differences as well. So for instance, on DISC, you have someone who's a high D, which is basically someone who's going to define if they've had a good day by what they've accomplished. D can often stand for driven or dominating. And then you have I, which is influence, which is someone who loves people or interacting. Different tests use different terms. So someone who's in high I is more about people and the relationships. And ENFPs are almost always high I, sometimes high D. I've worked with ENFPs who are low D and high D. Personally, I am a higher D. I like to accomplish things. I'm happy to take charge. I have kind of that leadership, entrepreneur energy, if you will. And same thing like with Strength Finder with all these tests. So you have this. You also have things like religion, culture. Also, how in tune are you to actually who you are? I don't want to cover the camera there. I have met a lot of people, not necessarily through my work, although sometimes through my work, but often just in life, who are so disconnected from who they really are. And it's obvious within a couple seconds that they're just not congruent. They're not authentic. They don't know who they are. They've been living for someone else. And I'm always excited for the time in their life when they will finally connect with actually who they are and get that. So it's possible as well that you or someone you know isn't really congruent yet. And, you're trying to be someone for your parent, you're trying to be someone for your culture, and also you haven't yet figured out who you are, and that's totally cool as well. And I'm not saying this to the commenter at all, I'm saying this in general. Like, we have so many things. There's things I'm still working with in terms of belief systems, maybe from my culture, from Canada, or from my parents that aren't really aligned with the life I want and how I want to live, and yet I still have to I still have them there. I still hear those voices in my head, if you will, right? So personality type and being an ENFP as one example is one of the many ways you can get to know about yourself and understand yourself. It covers certain ways that we interact with the world, that we tend to process things, that how we make decisions, how we organize our thoughts. It does not decide our belief systems. Now, it can mean that we tend to have certain belief systems or we tend to do certain things in life. For instance, because extroverted intuition is is our dominant function, it means we like novelty and stimulation. So it's no surprise that you meet more ENFPs who are maybe adventurous, who learn quickly, try new things, take on new roles, etc., right? But it does not define our values, our beliefs, and other parts of our personality as well. And that's actually a cool thing. I'm getting ready to announce some new events, and one of the things I love about doing in-person events is you realize how different people's lives are. I can meet an ENFP one day who is polyamorous, adventurous, traveler. Another day who is still fun and loves life and having a great time, but quite religious, very strict to their religion, and more conservative in certain ways. And everyone in between. That's maybe one of the coolest things about ENFPs. So just something to keep in mind today. I find personality type to be an excellent tool to understanding ourselves quicker, to spotting some of our patterns. And for me, why I started getting so into it is I was realizing I was taking advice from the wrong people. I was reading a business book by an ENTJ, and they're telling me to do things that I'm never going to be able to follow up on. I'm reading an organization book from an ISTJ, again, never going to be able to implement that system. And so I started trying to find people to learn from that were similar to me, because I thought, hey, there's much more likely chance that I can implement their advice because we are wired similarly. And so I find it helpful for all this, but do not ever take it as a limiting belief system or something that says, hey, you have to be this way or that way, etc. Cool. See you tomorrow. This is, by the way, I don't even know what day it is. I think it's day 14 of the ENFP Reboot. See you tomorrow.